Today, as we journey together, I want to talk about two things with you. First is this business of awakening and ascension. We hear this too often now from several teachers to the books we read, and in fact, even in TV and in the movies. And for each teacher, for each one who uses this term, they will probably have a slightly different take on what it means. I don't know about the others, but to me, it means this. Awakening is a process. I think it's not something that you just wake up one day and you're boom enlightened. Maybe that has happened to some people, but I think it's more of a process. It's more of a journey. And what does this journey entail? In my personal experience, to me, the process of awakening, I suppose, started with breaking free from many of the limiting beliefs that were ingrained with me from childhood through the practice of the faith that I was brought up in. In my case, I was born in a very Catholic family, and I had a lot of Catholic guilt growing up. I was always afraid that I would burn in hell if I did something wrong or if I offended God, and if I didn't do certain things that was required to be judged as a good Catholic. That guilt is often so difficult to overcome because almost always, it will feel like a betrayal, or your tribe, your family will feel like it's a betrayal. So in many cases, you will go through some sort of a revolution, some sort of saying that this does not work for me anymore, or I don't buy that, or that's not my experience. And yes, you will go through a stage wherein you will reject much of your old beliefs, your old understanding, because it simply does not make sense anymore. I remember feeling so strongly about those things that I don't believe. And, to my mother's disappointment and heartache, she was very much afraid of my soul, like any parent would be. And so, like any good son, I would just try to comply and do whatever it is that would make her happy. But inside, there was a strong rejection. There was a strong turmoil that was happening. Now, I see that this can be a problem with a lot of people when they get stuck here, as they start to be very vocal and attack and criticize their faith or other people's faith, and in some cases even become very rabid. And it is unfortunate because when you stay at the place of just pure rejection, you will fail to see that even though there are a couple of things that don't work for you anymore, or that does not fit your experience, there are, and I'm convinced there are, beautiful gems in any of the world's tradition that deal with our understanding of God. We will fail to see those gems when we stay at the place of revolution. And so the next stage, I believe, as one of the teachers that I follow, Carolyn Mays, says, once we go through the revolution, we enter into a period of involution. What is involution? Involution is going inside and now asking, okay, since I don't believe that, or I don't buy that anymore, what do I believe in? And that often is the difficult part, because now we are required to do a lot of inner work. We are required to start listening, to start paying attention to our experience of the divine and our reality. During this period is when we start to form new belief patterns. This is the time when we start to expand or build on perhaps some of the things that we still believe in. Like in my case, I still believe in God, but I no longer believe that I should fear God. I no longer believe in a punishing God. And so I built on that idea of God and expand it to God is all loving. God is unconditional love. And there's absolutely nothing I can do to offend God. Otherwise, if I can hurt God, then I'm the God, right? And so I think this is the stage where we will feel our journey will really start to move, because as we open up and as we start to go inside and reflect on our purpose, the nature of our soul, the nature of God, then we start attracting situations and people and teachers and books and experiences that will allow us to form our expanding creed, as I mentioned in our last episode. And it is an ongoing process, but it is ever expanding. And you are on a journey to awakening or to ascension, as others would like to call it, if there is expansion and not dogma. I think awakening simply means a journey to expand our consciousness and our idea and beliefs about our soul and about the divine and about our place in the whole bigger scheme of things. Now, the third stage, again, as how Carolyn Mays puts it, I suggest you follow her. She's a great teacher, is evolution. So from revolution, then we involute, and then now we evolve. Evolution is when we begin to recognize, as we journey and as we expand, our experience of the world, of the universe, of each other, of ourselves start to change. We begin to see things in a higher frequency, if you will. We begin to see things in a different light. We get to see things beyond cause and effect. We get to see things beyond just the physical. We begin to see patterns. We begin to see meaning that otherwise we would not see. We begin to understand our role in creating our experience. And more importantly, we are able to look back from where we were and be grateful and re-see, if there's such a word, and understand differently the universal wisdom of much of what has been taught in the tradition that you grew up with, and see how and what is common in the other great traditions of this planet. The process of evolution also will result to unlocking all our other natural abilities. Other people call these gifts like clairvoyance, clairaudience, or clairsentience, or feeling energy healing, or the gift of prophecy or empathy. These aren't gifts. I am convinced that this is innate to all of us. It is natural for human beings to use these abilities. And many of us have been using this. Most of us unknowingly. Our ability to feel another person, to sense another person if let's say he's sad or happy or anxious, is not a gift. And all of us have at some point, if not all the time, know when the person next to us is not feeling okay or is feeling very happy, for that matter, without even saying or doing anything. And that's energetic information you are receiving. To me, another way of describing the process of awakening or ascension is the transition from believing that I am just one of God's subject whose fate is entirely dependent upon Him and whose sole purpose is to please Him, to instead becoming God's partner in creation. and enjoying the absolute gift of free will to co-create and recreate myself in the next version of me with absolutely no condition and in the confidence of God's unconditional love. And that is a process. And it is a journey. And it's a journey that will often take us forward and sometimes backward. Mastery is when we become consistent in moving forward and moving forward all the time. And we have that clarity and understanding all the time about who we really are, about what we really desire, and about our true relationship with God. I'm nowhere near a master. I fall back from my journey several times and I move forward. Sometimes I succeed in great long stretches, and sometimes I equally fail and stay put for long stretches or even regress. But awakening is a lifelong journey, and every step that you make forward is what really counts. I think what's another really remarkable thing about going on a journey towards awakening is the minute we are able to say in all honesty that, God, I am now ready to understand you more, to understand you deeper, to have a deeper relationship with you. I cannot wait for you to reveal yourself to me. I don't know where this path is going to lead, but I can't wait to discover it. You will begin to notice how things will slowly fall into place, how people will start presenting themselves, how new knowledge will come to you, how more opportunities to learn and expand will be presented. And that can only happen once we break free from our guilt, once we break free from all the beliefs that limit us and keep us disempowered and keep us afraid of who we really are and what really is our relationship with God. That, I think, is what awakening is. And so I invite you to go along with me, to journey with me as we explore and have a conversation about yours and my understanding of the workings of our soul and our relationship with God. So I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. More importantly, chat with me in the comment section below. Bye.